Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Sports Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayen and I'll be your host for today's edition. Is day in the city of Abuja at this point in time, and I have here in the studio Alpha. Alpha, how you doing today?
Fine. Hope you had a nice weekend.
Of course, mixed feelings in the weekend due to the fact that football event has actually get to hit this at the center stage, and some teams are actually smiling, while some teams are actually trying at this point, hoping that that team will actually do better in the next football weekend. But for now, we'll head straight to our first story where we are talking about Team Nigeria as arrive Japan ahead of the 2020 Paralympics game that will be holding in Japan in just a week's time. The likes of the about 24 man contingent actually arrived, Kisarazu for the training camp before they will actually depart to the main game village for hostilities to actually begin in that part of the world. But looking at Team Nigeria, we know who have been successful when it comes to Paralympics.
Exactly.
Our disabled athlete are the one giving us more medals when it comes to the international event. This is our fourth time we'll be competing. No, these are our eighth
time
consecutive appearance that we'll
since
be
Barcelona
competing.
1992.
Of course. So at this point in time, what should we expect from this team?
As usual, like they say when it comes to this, our athletes for the Paralympics, the world, truly holds when we say there's ability in disability, because the performances of, Team Nigeria at the Paralympics have always been spectacular performances. I mean, I recall that in Rio 2016, Team Nigeria came back with 8 gold medals, 2 silver and 2 bronze.
We're first in Africa.
First in Africa, 17th, in the world. So why can't we replicate, this kind of performances when it comes to,
athletes?
Exactly. So are we saying these athletes are better, or they are better taken care of, or maybe they are more focused? So I think there's a disconnect somewhere. But that notwithstanding, nice one. I expect that Team Nigeria at the Paralympics will make up for all of the shortcomings we had at the Olympics that just finished a couple of weeks back, and I really expect them to even do better than they did in Rio. So good luck to them, and I wish them spectacular performance out there in Tokyo.
Of course, according to our team Nigerian captain, talking about Lucy Ejike, she said we have been training seriously to make sure that we meet up to the standard we set at the previous game. Everything is going on well. We are confident that we will bring glory to Nigeria. We have world records, so we are hoping to maintain the records and create new ones at this point in time. But looking at Nigerians team that we're participating in, we are participating in the powerlifting, para athletics, para table tennis, and para rowing. But where the bulk of the medal will actually be coming from will be the para powerlifting, because that is where we have the bulk of the athlete. But it also
that's where we've always performed very well in powerlifting.
Even in the world championship that was hosted in Nigeria last year. So we actually emerged champions in that particular. But ever since then, crisis are actually rock the power federation of Nigeria at this point in time. The president talking about Queen Ogo, she actually thrown the tour. She said she was not doing it again. She came back to Canada, and the vice actually stepped in. So at this point in time, we know that then when the Queen was the president, she actually fight for support, galvanize support, even from the first lady, from the wives of all the governors in Nigeria, and also from other sponsors. But at this point in time, we are not really hearing anything about the powerlifting athletes than what we used to hear before.
Yes, because someone who was suddenly behind, who put in her all, in the Paralympics Federation. But the politics of the federation simply didn't allow her to really perform and see the process till the end. So I mean, she had to relocate back to Canada, and and we keep going through this circle where people come from the diaspora, Nigerians in the diaspora come into the country and try to set one or two things right, and most of the times they end up frustrating those kinds of people. And like you rightly said, since she left, things haven't really been well with the Paralympics Federation. So I really hope that they put their house in order. But like we say, why is it that all the time we always have these issues of infighting in our federations, especially leading up to a big competition such as the Paralympics? Why is it money issues? Is it just power tussle? What is it exactly?
Just so sad. She was actually, fingered by some of our board members, and although that the ministry also were actually backing those other board members that she actually collected money for the World Championship that's hosted in Abuja last year, and she didn't actually declare. There was two teams that were actually get to represent Nigeria. So a whole lot of back and forth when it comes to international competition. Nigeria we must always get to show ourselves. But at this point in time, away from that, away from those distractions, when it comes to the powerlifting, we are the ones that is holding all the world records, we set and create new records. So hopefully, for me, I'll just be banking, putting my money on the powerlifting, athletes for them to actually deliver the goods for Team Nigeria.
I believe they will. They will. They've always delivered, one way or the other.
Of course, the Paralympic tennis, we are not there yet. We still have the likes of China, who will actually be the one to dominate it. Para athletics, yes, of course. Short put, javelin. I know some certain, lead that she has actually won good medal for Nigeria in the Olympics. So, by and large, we should expect a better, outing than the one that Igbo athlete actually went to represent us. So, but we ensure that we are going to give you all the news that is actually coming from the Paralympics right there in Tokyo. So, at this point in time, we're wishing, the Team Nigeria in the Paralympics all the best. They should go for gold. We'll be actually supporting them. The Massa also will be supporting them for them to do the country proud. Away from that, we head straight to our next story where we're talking about the slamming and bulky game where Kano State actually gets to defeat Kaduna 74-72 in the finals of the under-17 of the Noah Danladi Legacy Basketball Tournament at the Sania Abacha Stadium in Kano over the weekend. It just, it was a beauty to behold to see, these lads getting to play basketball and starting, Noah Danladi getting to be the man in their face, steering it. That final, a whole lot of top musician, Remy Alade, talking about one of the Peace Corps brothers were actually there. DJ was there to actually perform. AY, the rest, football stars, Tirani Babangida, Lawal was actually there to actually grace the occasion. But looking at the performance and the organization, how would you rate this particular tournament?
As a sports journalist, I'm always excited when I hear of competitions like this, because it is through this kind of tournaments organized by good spirited individuals that actually help to discover talents who go all the way to represent Nigeria even at the highest level. I mean, this was an under-17 championship, and the organization, everything was well put together. Like we keep talking about people, to put their money and invest in, and this is one of those examples. A good tournament had, it was it was full of pomp and ceremony. A lot of top A-list artists came to perform to, add some spice to the whole event. So it was really nice, the performances and everything. And I mean, for under 17, and I know that this kind of tournament, the main purpose of this kind of tournament is for the discovery of talent. And I expect that going forward, some names who participated here, we'll see them, maybe in the Tigers or, of course, in the NBA. I mean, what stops them from playing the NBA? I mean, after all, we have a good representation of Nigerians out there in the NBA. So a good one from the organizers of this tournament. And it's something that we encourage more private, investment in sport. It will go a long way to complement the efforts of the government.
course, it's just so good that the tournament was actually actually hosted by Kano State, and it was Kano that actually host and actually get to win that particular tournament. And tournament playing in the north, it shows that they are actually ready to begin the revival of sports when it comes to sports right there in the north, because we know down south they're the ones in charge
most
when
of
it
the
comes
time,
to
yes.
sport, but for them, hosting that particular sport in Kano, it shows a long way that there is still hope for the northern Nigeria for them to revive sports as one of their key areas of endeavor. But away from that particular one, congratulations to Kano. Kaduna, you can do better next time, hopefully. But at this point in time, we go head straight to the round leader game, talking about football, where work for football development tag is actually tax Nigerian coach. Talking about the FCT chairman, Football Association chairman, Abba Mutar, has actually charged the coaches of Nigeria for them to ensure that they get to develop football at the grassroots level. This will actually help the country in the future tournaments. There are so many untapped resources in the grassroots level. If these coaches can go all the way to actually tap it, they can able to do the nation proud. Mutal actually said this during the visit of the new executive of the FCT Coaches Association, talking about Barcelona. They actually went to pay him a personal visit, and he actually asked them to to develop sport at the grassroots level. At this point in time, should we just be saying develop sport at the grassroots level when it needed a requirement for them to act for them to aid their work is not being put in place?
When we talk of sports development, sports development go a long way. It's not just about developing the talents themselves. Sports development is an all-encompassing venture. It has to do with also the infrastructure, because I mean, for you to harness these talents, there has to be a pitch for them to play. There has to be an environment, So all these things will need to be put in place, for them to pick up from there. So, but first of all, these structures need to be put in place. First of all, to even get the players to even go out there on the pitch to play. So nice advice coming there from the chairman there, and I think it's a good one for the coaches. And I understood in the course of that meeting, he made alluded to the fact that even if it comes to playing style and all of that, that Nigeria really doesn't have a playing style. So he's hoping that this kind of avenue will be good for the coaches, to develop their skills also. And when you develop these players at a young age, it's from there that you try to infuse your sort of your playing philosophy, your football style into them. And so when they grow up, they have style, because I mean, like you rightly said, come to the Super Eagles, for instance, you cannot really say we have a defined pattern of play, for instance.
Of course.
Exactly.
We do know that.
Exactly. So when we are playing, you can't really say, okay, this is how we are expected to play. For instance, if you are going to watch the Spanish team, for instance, even before they step on the field, their football is possession based. Exactly. But in Nigeria, we can't say if it's possession based, if it's kick and follow.
Play according to the rhythm of the opponent.
Exactly. If it's kick and follow, if it's samba, we don't really have a defined
It
pattern
was
of
those
play.
days during the days of JJ Okocha,
Exactly.
Sunday Reset. That was when we had a definite
Yes,
pattern of
and
play. But now,
it's not like we don't even have the personnel to. We have players. In fact, I think after a very long time, this present crop of Nigerian players is the best we've had in a very long time. Most of our players now are playing in top clubs, playing some of the best leagues, doing well. So I really expect that this kind of coaching clinics will go a long way in help to develop the skills of these coaches moving forward.
according to Mutal, he said, I like the grassroots and I expect you to work for the development and growth of football at the grassroots. I'm in football for service and always say if you are not willing to make yourself uncomfortable and invest your money in football, you should not go in football. And that is
Absolutely.
what we have not gotten in this country. That is what we have not gotten right in this country. The willingness to actually to sacrifice for others. And actually, I said it there. I said it at the nail in the head. You have to, put a whole lot of work for you to, get a whole lot of output at this point in time. But before we go out to our next story, where a couple of Nigerians actually were on target for their respective club at the weekend, the likes of Musa, Dennis, Awuni. But for now, we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll still sports updates.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round. Sports Orbit. We make the world go round. Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Welcome from that short break. It's still Sports Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. Before we actually went on that short break, some of our Super Eagles players actually made the headlines during the weekend, where the likes of Taiwo Awoniyi, Ahmed Musa, also Bonaventure Dennis actually they got on the right foot on in the weekend games. We saw the likes of Awoniyi as well for Union Berlin in the Bundesliga. Musa also scored for his Turkish side. He actually made the debut and scored in that particular goal. Also Dennis, also Bonaventure made his Watford debut and actually scored an impressive goal for Watford. He was actually voted as the man of the match in that particular
spectacular performance
match. But quickly, let's get your reaction on what really went down with the
nice one. These are the kind of news that we look forward to hear, especially with our players playing abroad. When you have plenty of talents playing in these kinds of leagues, they shouldn't just be regular players. They should at least week in, week out, should be hearing this kind of stories coming in from. I'm particularly excited, especially for Awoniyi, who it seemed like he was going to be integrated back into the Liverpool setup, but he wasn't to be, and had to make his move to Union Berlin permanent. And interesting to know that he scored Union's first goal of the season.
A spectacular
goal
out of the box 18.
Exactly, so, and Awoni has it's been a long time coming for the young man, and I really hope that he's going to make a solid impact and solid impression in the Bundesliga this season. For Dennis also, what a way to go. This was a guy who not too long ago was discovered in the academy down there in Kwara. So I'm really happy that he's able to play at this level. Playing at the Premier League, that's the highest level, of course. So, and he was voted man of the match in that game, for Watford, and of course for also our captain Ahmed Musa. We spoke a lot about him here while he came back to Kano Pillars and trying to make his way back to Europe. I'm really happy for him because it looks like he has hit the ground running. Maybe when he came back for Kano Pillars, maybe being away for a long time and coming back to play, I'm sure maybe it kind of affected him, because I must say that his performance when he came back wasn't really inspiring one. He recorded just one assist, didn't even record any goal. So I felt maybe he's been out for a long time, and coming back to adapt to our league was a challenge for him. But good one for Ahmed Musa. At least he's back again. He now has a club. There's a point when he was even clubless, and people were, complaining that how can the captain of the Eagles, be clubless, and he's still getting invites. But good. Thankfully now he has a club, and I hope that with this kind of performances he will get to play more regular for his new club.
Looking at Super Eagles, we're having the World Cup qualifier soon, early next month, talking about September. Will it be a selection headache for Coach Genefro?
I don't envy him now. If I was a Super Eagles coach, it's a headache, but like we say in football, but it's actually a good headache. Having a selection problem, it's actually a good problem, especially when you have a team that is awash with so many talents, so it's a good problem to have. So, but I think at the end of the day, is for him to, actually make the right selections. People, players who know and who are sure that will bring, results to the Eagles, because I mean, we have the qualifiers will begin soon, and of course, in a couple of 5 months from now, the AFCON will kick off. So there's plenty of time to look at these players individually and make the best selection for the Super Eagles.
Just to tell you that Samuel Kalu actually slump during his game in Bordeaux.
It was actually a scary moment.
Yeah, it was just a scary moment, but thank God he was actually rescued by the players and also the medical.
I was able to even play for another 8 minutes before he was,
of course,
eventually substituted.
So at this point in time, just to let you know what really went down with Super Eagles player around the world at the weekend. Also, Paul Onacho was also on target, for them that particular one. So at this point in time, he's set to continue
from where he stopped.
From where he actually
absolutely
stopping that particular one. But away from that, rumors actually flying around is that a certain man who is in Arsenal at this point in time might just be getting sacked, and a new man might just be getting to replace him at the Emirates Stadium. Talking about Arteta, report has it that a certain Antonio Conte will be the man that will actually replace Mikel Arteta in Arsenal. But at this point in time, following that disappointing performance against new boys in the league, it seems that what actually before Arsenal last season is coming this season again.
So early in the season.
So just so early in the season.
Losing against Brentford, a club that last played in the top flight division since the Second World War.
Of course, but at this point in time, Arteta is saying Antonio Conte might just be the man that will rescue Arsenal from the mess they are finding. So, but at this point in time, looking at Mikel Arteta and Antonio Conte, do you think Arteta should be sacked? Do you think Antonio Conte is the right man for Arsenal?
Well, sometimes when it comes to coach's appointment, you might never really know until he starts the job. For Arteta, I really think, even when he was appointed, just in informal discussion with some of my fellow, sports journalists, I've said repeatedly that the Arsenal job was too big, in my opinion. It's too big for Arteta. Some have made the excuse that he has been Guardiola's assistant. I said it's just an Arsenal assistant. It's an assistant, but the Arsenal job is too big a job for Arteta. I don't think he's the right man to take Arsenal forward. And of course, for Conte, he'll be a good.
So he's expert in Chelsea. He won the Premier League. He went to Inter Milan. He won the Italian Serie A.
Two things here are likely to happen. If you're bringing a Conte, for instance, does Arsenal actually have the materials for him to work with? That's another thing. Some have made excuses for Arteta that yes, he doesn't really have the materials, and because honestly speaking, looking at the Arsenal team currently, I really don't think Arsenal have the right personnel to really challenge for top honors or even make it to the top four.
Is it that Edu is not doing well? Because if you look at the kind of signing Arsenal actually did during this transfer window, the window is still active, no doubt about it. He brought in a certain Ben White from Brighton for £15 million, while Manchester United went to sign Brian for £34 million. We brought in a certain guy from Anderlecht, talking about Lukonga for about £15 million. Are they really doing the right signings?
I think at this point, I don't think they are the right signings, because looking at a club like Arsenal, you need players who, when they come in, will have an instant impact on your team. I mean, Chelsea just got in Lukaku because they knew that they had a strikers problem. So I don't think a Ben White, for instance, or a Lukonga is what Arsenal need at this point in time. I was expecting, some marquee signings, players that, when they come into the team. I mean, look at a Bruno Fernandes, for instance. I mean, just Bruno Fernandes alone was completely transformed Man United to what it is today. And even the few signings they've made Varane, looking at Varane, and of course Sancho, that these are signings that will have an instant impact on the team. So I really don't think the signings Arsenal have made this season will actually take them forward. So even if Conte comes, he still needs materials to work with. But right now, looking at the Arsenal squad, sincerely speaking, I don't think they have enough personnel to, really give them, a strong showing for the top four or to challenge for the title.
Just too soon to call. Do you think they can make up the top six?
Top six. It keeps getting tighter and tighter.
Of course.
It keeps getting tighter. I mean, Leicester City are now in the mix.
Tottenham
are in the mix.
Manchester City.
So it's really difficult. And not forgetting the fact that in Arteta's last 2 seasons, Arsenal have finished 8, consecutively. So for now, it's just one game, 37 more games to go. Maybe if they get their acts together, maybe a top 6 might be possible going forward.
Top 6 might be absolutely possible going forward. But at this point in time, we take the weekend result that actually went down in the English Premiership, where Brentford actually defeated Arsenal in the season opener on Friday 2-0. Manchester United went on a riot, defeated B City 5-1 on Saturday. Burnley lost at home to Brighton. Chelsea were 3-0 winners over Crystal Palace. That was just a welcoming bashing for Patrick Vieira, who is in charge of Crystal Palace at this point.
Yes. Well, looking at that match, of course, I actually tipped Chelsea to win because looking at Patrick Vieira coming to the Palace side, I really didn't expect Palace to trouble Chelsea too much, of which they didn't. So it wasn't a shock, actually. Even looking at the Man City Tottenham game, I wouldn't say it was a shock result. I mean, from the blast of the whistle, Tottenham looked like they wanted that game. They played better in all departments, far better than Man City. So, in fact, I think Man City were even lucky to be defeated by just a goal. So of course, United 5-star performance. Of course, with Pogba and Bruno Fernandes shining in that one. We've spoken about the Arsenal game. I really think expect them to go down to a Brentford side. I thought at least Arsenal were going to at least begin this season. Brentford, I mean, like I said earlier, a team who are just coming back into the top flight for over 40-something years, since, the Second World War. And everybody expected Arsenal to at least steamroll them, but that wasn't to be. And they took that one away with 2-0. Then, of course, the Everton, Southampton.
No, I was actually going to that. We see the return of Rafa Benitez at the Merseyside, getting to actually defeat Southampton 3-1 in that particular one. Leicester City were 1-0 winners over Wolves. While Watford there we have 4 Nigerians talking about Peter Itabo. We have Manuel Denise, we have Isaac Sources, then also Trust William Ekon was actually not there. They defeated Aston Villa at 3-2 in that particular. Then Liverpool actually show supremacy over Norwich City. They actually defeated them 3-0 just to prove that yes, they are back and back for the title. Looking at the lines of all their defenders, Van Dijk is back. Also, some of the key players actually missing in action due to injury last season.
Trent is back. Alexander is back.
So at this point in time, looking at the Premier League, who do you think is actually at the season?
It's still early days, so right now I wouldn't want to, be quick in, tipping the winner, but I'll likely say my candidates for top 4. That's more closer to it, but a winner for now, I really can't, off the top of my head, I really can't say, but it's going to be a really tough season. Looking at the way the big guns have started.
It's going to be a really tough season. It's going to be a photo finish. It will go last to the wire.
Looking like that.
As it seems, because every team at this point in time, they're actually fighting for every point in the English Premier League. So it's also sad we couldn't actually head straight to the Bundesliga, to the La Liga, and also to the French League One. But just to tell you, Barcelona won their match. Real Madrid also won their match. in that particular. PSG also, even without Messi and Ramos, they actually won their second game in the French League One. But at this point, I just want to thank our partner for coming on the show. It has been nice talking sports with you.
Always a pleasure.
Of course, at times, always not on our side. Time is one thing that we don't have at this point in time. But we'll make a return tomorrow, same time, for another fresh edition of Sport Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast. My name is Olawale. I'm saying bye bye for now and God bless.